Ladies and gentlemen, boils and ghouls, grab your goats, grab your sharks, grab your comically large planchettes. It is time for the Witches Movie Coven. I have taken over as host tonight, forcibly so, because it is Ouija Shark night. But before we get into the movie, let me introduce you to our wonderful panel. Let's start with Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Greene, and I am in a dramatic lighting today because of my terrible, terrible old camera that is the only one that's working, so I apologize. But it might be good for this shark movie. Drama, exactly. I am the author, and I left my book in over here because I was dealing with the tech. I am the author of Lights, Camera, Witchcraft, a critical history of witches in American television and film. I am also an editor at Llewellyn Worldwide and a journalist covering all things witchy and occult. And I just saw Dollcraft pop up. I did do the forward for that too, so I'll throw that in.
Yay, thank you, Heather. And now let's move on to the person at the very top of the hex list, Jason Mankey.
I am Jason Mankey, Llewellyn author. This is my latest book, High Priest, a biography of Raymond Buckland. All I ask for those of you watching, pray for us, work magic for us. Help us tonight as Courtney leads the show, and we have to talk about this movie she somehow loves.
That's true. Thank you. And as I have forcibly taken over for Patty, did I hex her? Did I not? We'll find out next week, maybe. Stepping in, our very good friend and my very good friend tonight, Thumper Forge.
Hello, I am Thumper Forge. I am what happens when you order Richard Leal off of Temu. And I'm an author with Llewellyn. I'm the author of the upcoming Chaos Apple, Magic and Discordianism for the Postmodern Witch. And instead of a 1 tonight, I have this.
Yes!
Perfect.
Incredible. Thank you, Thumper. I look forward to, forming an alliance here with you later. And unfortunately, Richard Leal is also not with us tonight. We're sending our love and hugs out to him. So you can all join us in that. We miss you, and we're here for you. Tabitha Meadows is stepping in to some pretty big shoes. Welcome back, Tabitha.
Hi, thank you very much. I am Tabitha Meadows. I am a medium and a psychic, and I think normally Richard Leal would say something about being a medium and a large. Well, I'm like pretty extra large. And this over here, that's my friend Bob.
I love that.
Bob.
I love that.
So the Ouija Shark has a name, Bob. That's good to know.
The shark friends.
Wow. Well, we name things we love. Anyway, moving on from that, folks, it is Ouija Shark night. I'm beside myself. Black Phillip is beside himself. He's prepared with a shark fin. I have my haunted Roomba over here is wearing a shark fin, and I brought us all snacks. So let's indulge in some gummy sharks while Jason steps in for Richard Leal and gives us what better be a good, unbiased plot synopsis.
Okay, before I start, I'm going to take a long pull of this whiskey.
I'm going to put my sunglasses on already.
Okay, I've got two versions of the unbiased synopsis tonight. The first, the Richard Leal version. A woman finds a Ouija board at the shore of a beach. She uses it and calls up a ghost shark who kills most of the people in the movie. The end.
That's exactly it. I love
now, here's my longer version for you, Courtney, because I wanted you to know that I watched every minute of this movie. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Movie opens with 5 minutes of credits. Finally, we see a young woman named Jill at a park who complains that her friends aren't there to meet her. She says screw it and walks down a well-worn path in the very bright light of day. Ominous music plays. At the shore of the beach, she finds a Ouija board. 20 minutes have passed, and almost nothing has happened. Jill then drives to a house where she meets her old college roommate and a few of that old roommate's friends for a pool party. One of the girls is really excited about getting in the pool, but then ditches her friends to help a neighbor wash his car. Long montage of bad country music plays as the car is washed. After swimming and eating, the girls are bored and begin playing with the Ouija board. Somehow, a planchette that was not found at the beach shows up with the board. They ask the board some questions, and there's a flash of light. Ominous music plays. 8 hours mysteriously passed, and then Jill calls her dad. Dad has told Jill before to stop messing with the occult. Cut to a scene the next day at the park Jill was at earlier. Here is a young woman we haven't met before, and she is with a boy. Girl decides to sunbathe in a pavilion while sitting on a picnic table. I thought she was going to be deflowered by the boy, but that would have been too interesting. Finally, the shark shows up. The couple run. Ominous music plays. Boy hides behind a tree and is then eaten by the shark. Girl grabs branch to protect herself. She is then chased by the shark. She too hides behind a tree that doesn't cover her body and is then eaten by the shark. Back at the house, one of the girls smokes the devil's lettuce while the shark is in the pool. She gets high with the shark. She's then eaten by the shark, who devours her entire body, and there is no blood. It's morning, and the girls argue over the location of the Ouija board. The blonde girl then goes to the grocery store. After telling her friends the store is a few miles away, she walks to the store, going through the park where the movie is apparently being shot. It's a beautiful sunny day. Ominous music plays. Meanwhile, Jill's dad has been up all night researching ghost sharks, and despite warning his daughter about the dangers of the occult, he consults tarot cards to shed light on the situation. The cards, the world, the devil, death. Cut back to the blonde girl walking through the park in the very bright late daylight on a very well-worn path. Ominous music plays. Blonde girl finds Ouija board. Very overprotective mother then meets the local sheriff at the park, which is apparently the only location in town. Looking for her daughter, apparently the one who was eaten by the shark earlier. The sheriff calls his deputy, who is lazy and drunk. The phrase Sarsaparilla Trail is said 20 times. Drunken cop walks out of a bar that is apparently located in a basement, stops to pee in a stairwell. Ominous music plays. Man is eaten by the ghost shark. Blonde girl going to the grocery store is cut back to for the third time, again walking through the well-lit park in the daytime. Ominous music plays. Shark appears. Girl runs. She too hides behind a tree, smartly throws groceries away, but the shark moves faster. Shark eats blonde girl. Dad, who hates the occult, decides to consult a medium about the Ouija board and implores his daughter to find said board. Suddenly, another girl is eaten by the Ouija shark. And remember the girl who wanted to swim but helped the dude wash his car instead? Apparently, she's back after shacking up with him all night. No one comments on all the dead girls and or missing girls, or the fact that this girl just smashed with the total stranger for 18 hours. The sheriff heads into the woods. Ominous music plays. Jill and the car wash girl run into the park because, of course they do. Where else are they supposed to go in this movie? The park is the only way through town. Girls hide behind a tree. Somehow it works this time, and then car wash girl is eaten. Her name was Tiffany. Jill's only show of emotion is the word, damn it. For reasons unknown, Jill kept her car parked at the park, despite going to the house with the pool. In her trunk, she has a full leather outfit and a shotgun. 4 minutes are spent showing Jill putting on her leather outfit. Suddenly, a mysterious stranger in a robe shows up with a muffled voice that is impossible to understand. He also holds the Ouija board. Ominous music plays. Jill's dad consults a medium and finds out that his daughter is in danger. Ominous music plays. Jill shoots the shark with a gun. She then runs into a cabin at the park that is fully decorated and apparently unlocked. Dad uses the medium's crystal to draw the shark to him and is eaten. Ominous music plays. Sheriff also runs into cabin and his gun is then used as a planchette on the Ouija board. Cut to the spirit of the dead dad who says, "Oh no, I'm dead." Dad, who doesn't like the occult, apparently has occult training. At one point he says, "Mystic Shield," the absolute best moment of this movie. Dad fights shark to keep it away from Jill. Jill shoots Ouija board, shark disappears. Ominous music plays. The mysterious cloaked figure then calls Donald Trump on a landline, telling the president, mission accomplished. Trump says to prepare phase 2 of Operation Ouija Shark, followed by maniacal laughter. Worst Trump impression ever. Somehow, 7 minutes of credits follows. In order to pad this movie out, they have now run the credits for the cast 3 times. The end. The end.
Yay, Jason! That was really good, Jason. Thank you
I
very much.
watched every minute of this film for you.
I relived it with you just now, and it was just as hilarious as it was the first time.
Ominous music plays.
It's literally. We'll come back to that. Heather, is Ouija Shark in your book?
No.
Why? Why not?
No. There's no witch in this.
There's a medium?
Yes, it's stretching it. We'll just...
Jill's dad apparently is a practitioner of the mystic arts.
That's
It's
a
not-
good point.
Shield.
It is not.
Wizard Shield.
First
Wait
of all,
till you see him in Ouija Shark 2.
well,
Shark.
yes. Well, first of all, also my book, I had to hand it in before Ouija Shark made it to the screen.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
So I can get redeemed for that.
Yes. Yes.
I'm laughing so much at your shark fin that's just sticking right out of the screen, like, you know, Donna, no, there it is. And there was a goat in this movie. There was on her T-shirt. Jill had a T-shirt that had a goat on it. A black T-shirt with a goat. Nobody noticed that, of course. That was the first thing that popped out. I'm like, oh,
I wrote it down.
That's the band. That's the band that plays the theme at the end of this.
Yeah,
at the end of the
there you
movie.
go.
It was the, yeah.
So I guess you want some things to know about this film besides what it was about or kind of about. So
Yes, please. I've been waiting all week.
Let me get some more gummy
not
shark.
much to know. I'll give you some basics. We'll talk about the director, the actor, and the writer, and shark films. And after I honestly did research on this, I have 2026 Witches Movie Coven movies lined up for the whole year. So this is going to be a preview of 2026 and what we're going to be watching. Okay.
Holy crap! No.
Get ready, Jason. So basically, this movie was filmed in 2017, but sat on a shelf until 2020 when it was released, if that's what you can call it. It's a B film, sort of, I guess, but I would say more like a Z film. And I think its budget was about $300, according to the powers that be on the internet. They say was about that, and it definitely was low budget. Basically, there's a word they use. A low budget filmmakers from the 60s. He made a movie called The Naked Witch, which I've mentioned before. He called his film schlock, so I like to call this one in the schlock category.
Yeah.
It was directed by Brett Kelly. Its writer was David Lloyd and John Migliori. John Migliori was Jill's dad, who did the mystical whatever. Just as a point, if you look at the screen, it says it was directed by Scott Patrick. That is Brett Kelly, same person. So let's go to let me do the director first. So this Brett Kelly. So Brett Kelly is Canadian, born in 1972. He's been around forever. His first film was called Planet Blood in 2001. He loves horror movies. And if you go through his movies, you can see this love for this type of low budget schlock films. Actually, the most stars he's gotten as a director, 7 stars on IMDb, were for 5 episodes of A Violent Earth, which is actually a Liv Schreiber series about the Earth. So that's actually a TV series. Everything else gets 1 to maximum 3 stars in any ratings for films. So let me just run you through his thing. I thought you guys would enjoy this. So 2001, he comes out with, I think it's one of his first, Planet Blood. Then he gets further into the schlock category, Spacemen, Go-Go Girls, and the Real Meaning of Christmas. That's one film.
That's
Followed by, because it was so popular, Spacemen, Go-Go Girls, and the Great Easter Hunt. And then we're getting more into his center, Attack of the Giant Leeches, and then a popular one, She-Rex, and Thunderstorm, The Return of Thor. These are 2 of his more well-known films. Then we get into his beginning of his shark era, Jurassic Shark, the first one in 2012. Then 2015, Raiders of the Lost Shark.
Yes.
Followed by My Fair Zombie, which is one of his more popular films.
No shark though.
No shark in that one, but we'll get there. Murder in High Heels, another one really popular in 2019, followed by, Conga TNT and Heavy Metal Werewolf. Very good. But then he gets back to Shark, and we do 2020. We have Ouija Shark. And then in 2024, he's followed with Nano Shark and Kaiju Glam Shark Attack. So you can see a trend here in the popularity of shark films with Brett Kelly. Now let me move to actors. If you look on Google and you look up the actors for this film, you'll see there's one called Brett Kelly. That Brett Kelly is not this Brett Kelly. That Brett Kelly is an actor that was born in like the late 80s or early 90s, was in Bad Santa, totally different person. Google's data banks are confusing it. In fact, they list an actor, and if you go to that actor's IMDb Instagram page, all it says is, I was not in Ouija Shark. So whoever that person is, Google thinks that person is in Ouija Shark, and they are not in Ouija. I don't even know if that person's an actor. Either way, most of the actors in this film are not well known, and most of them are people who are in and around Brett Kelly and John Migliori's films and all of their circle. Okay, you have $300, you're not going to be able to, hire well-known actors or even less or unknown actors. So you're dealing with the people that you know, which is pretty obvious. So one of them, there's two I want to mention really quick, is Zoe Town. The only reason I'm mentioning, she was in Murder in High Heels, if you're curious. The only reason I'm mentioning her is because she was also in a film called The Wiccan Girl. It's a Canadian film. It has no date. I am going to research and figure out what that is. Probably similar to these. The other one is John Migliori, who was Jill's dad. The reason I'm mentioning him is because he was also the writer of this. He is also a director, and he directed Ouija Shark 2. And just to show you the fun movies that he does, I'll list a couple of those. You have Love Shark, you have Punk Shark, The Demon Weed, Frankenpimp's Revenge, Massacre at Femur Creek, Raccoon, and there you go. Well, there are all the different kinds of shark and Ouija Shark and Ouija Exorcist. Yeah, these are all the Ouija, and this is a confusing thing. Sharks and Ouija boards.
Can we just take 1 second to notice, if we can put that one back up? I was screaming, laughing, looking at this the other day. Sharkansas's women's prison massacre.
Yeah.
What?
Well, it's a perfect lead into the last facts that I wanted to bring up. Just some fun stuff. So basically, I had more fun looking at the names of all these movies in these categories than I had watching this movie. I'm going to be honest. But I see your mouth. Where is my list of shark movies? So the big thing, the interesting thing, here it is. The interesting thing about this is that shark movies got really popular during a certain period of time. This kind of shark movie. Of course, shark movies have been around for a while, and I just have to harken back to 1975. The epitome and the best shark movie ever made, Jaws, of course. What's interesting about Spielberg is that when he set out to make films, he wanted to make films about and cover all of the things that scare people the most: aliens, and sharks, and ghosts. And you see in his films, you can see that dinosaurs, another one. So you can see he's done that over his career in a number of ways, and other things as well. So of course, Jaws comes out. They had a very low budget. Things weren't going well. They made the film, and it is absolutely brilliant. I just revisited it. It's a July 4th film. So I always recommend you watch Jaws this week. And I still jump and scream and yell and the whole thing. So Jaws is fantastic. There were a couple of shark films made after that in response to the success of Jaws. And then you had, as time went by, Jaws, of course, had a number 2, 3, and 4. If you haven't seen Jaws 3D, I recommend not watching it. We had 78, 83, and 87. Then you didn't get a whole lot during the 80s and 90s, but you had, Shark Attack in 99 and Deep Blue Sea in 99. And then as you get closer and closer to the 2010s, you get more and more. You have Psycho Shark in 2009. You have Sharktopus in 2010, and that was followed by Sharktopus versus the Whale Wolf, and then Sharktopus versus Paracuda. Those were all, follow-ups. There you go. They were that popular. Of course, in 2010, you also had Dino Shark. Sharknado, and I have a funny story about Sharknado, but Sharknado number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I don't know how many Sharknados there have been. Shallows in 2016, of course, Megalodon, the big shark, Robo Shark in 2015. These are just a few of the good ones. More recently, of Sharkula, Space Sharks, Cocaine Shark. You got all kinds of sharks. It was like a craze. It's like something happened in 2010 and 2011, and like everybody had to make a really schlocky shark movie, as campy as potentially possible. So real quick, those are the things you need to know. So my quick story is there was a tornado headed to my child's college in Virginia, actually. I don't know if Tabitha remembers the big tornadoes about 3 or 4 years ago that went through Virginia. But he was in college. Tornadoes are heading to his dorm. He's out there, walking home. I said, why are you not in your dorm? Get in your dorm. He texts me back, don't worry. I saw Sharknado. I got this. I'm like, okay, I'll see you when I see you. So there you go, Sharktopus and the whale wolf.
Incredible.
So
Wow.
that is what you need to know about this. The only other thing I'll add is that Ouija board movies also became popular during the same period of time as these shark crazy movies. But the interest in Ouija during this period of time is definitely linked to the increased interest in witchcraft and tarot, which also got popular in movies and in culture during the 2010s. So sharks, I'd have to do a study, and I'll get back to you on that.
I
Me
thought
too.
BG was a copyrighted name, which is why other people call them spirit boards.
It is. Hasbro does have a copyright, a trademark for the name Ouija. But it may be limited, or these guys didn't care. I couldn't find any data. I'd have to talk to Hasbro, but it may be that it's limited to certain uses and that they can use it in this particular instance. They didn't actually use the real Ouija board, so there may be a technicality in the law there.
Yeah.
It's nuanced, but it is interesting because they do own the copyright, the trademark for the name itself for toys, games, and entertainment products.
Yeah.
So
Good.
maybe using it in a movie like this, not so much.
Well, I mean, I think in this particular instance, it would definitely count as parody,
Yeah.
right?
There's a legality they got around for sure.
Amazing. Well, Heather, thank you for doing this fantastic film justice. I learned a lot. Specifically, I learned that what I was saying about the budget of this movie, which I thought was $15, was actually $300. So that's even better. That's even better than I thought. All right. Thumper or Tabitha, would either of you like to start because you haven't talked yet?
I have not yet recovered from Massacre at Femur Creek. That is the greatest name I've ever heard in my life. And I will be staying up all night searching and watching that.
I agree.
So I feel like this movie obviously wanted to be horror comedy. It was, a pet peeve of mine is when a movie doesn't really know what it wants to be. And this movie definitely knew what it wanted to be. It just didn't know how to get there. And I have a fondness for schlock. I love schlocky movies. I was really just blown away by the utter carelessness in terms of continuity and plot. I loved that the house that they rented, or the house they were staying at, was like in an upper middle class suburb. And when the girl said, well, I'm going to go to the store, she left and was walking through a field and then walking through the forest. I loved, as we mentioned, the planchette that wasn't there at the beginning, but then magically appeared. And later she was like, I lost the planchette. And like, you never had it to begin with. I loved that the dad was a scientist, but also a wizard. I loved that the tarot cards were clearly printed. Like even with, granted, they had a $300 budget, but you can get a solid pack of actual tarot cards for $20. Like somebody should have had one lying around. And I love, they probably spent more money printing the cards than they would have just going to buy one. I felt like the actors, like half of them were like phoning it in and just doing the director a favor, and half of them earnestly thought this was their big break, and there was no way to tell the two apart. And it's just so bad it's lovable. It's there is no redeeming this movie, and if you know anything about my dating history, I'm a sucker for something that can't be fixed. And
Is that what it is? Is that why I love this?
I would absolutely go out with this movie after it hadn't called me for 6 weeks.
Yes.
So that is all I have to say on this masterpiece.
I have to just jump in and love the fact that Thumper just treated that review as if this was a real movie.
It is a real movie.
It wanted to be horror comedy, and it made it horrible, and then it just petered out.
I took more notes on this movie than I did about Midsummer.
Courtney, that's longer than the shooting script.
That's just my notes. I also have quotes. The whole script.
Oh my gosh.
One of those pages just says ominous music, though, so it's okay.
I did write that down somewhere, yes.
Not just ominous music. It was like license-free ominous music. It was all Creative Commons, which you can find at the end of the movie. Because as I said, out of my great love of Courtney, I watched every minute of this film.
I love you, Jason. Still gonna hex you. Tabitha?
I actually thought the beginning was really great.
I'm sorry, Tabitha full screen. This is so much. I love it.
Mystic Shield! Mystic Shield!
There's a shark with no arms and no legs swimming in the ocean or swimming in the forest. His name's Bob. I loved the intro to the movie, the music and the art. When you first come in, were excellent, which made me believe that the movie was going to be way better than what it was. So it had a great start, and then it just kind of slid downhill and bottom out from there. I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It is what it is. It's supposed to be funny. I loved that there were a group of girls that were that had moonbeam skin like mine. I think they're the I think most of them were glowing. They were so white, and I'm just here for that because we are in that same coven. What I do want to talk about as well is Ouija boards and people being so afraid that they're going to bring something evil through the Ouija board. Yes, Ouija boards can have spirit attachments, but the spirit chooses to attach itself to the board. And truthfully, we are the biggest conduit for anything bad that might come in. I mean, every person walks around this earth with a whole entourage of people that you can't see unless you care to hone in on the skill that everybody has, which is mediumship. Not all mediumships. Not all mediums claim to be psychic, and not all psychics think that they are mediums. But I think there's a bit of that in all of us, and it's just a matter of tapping into our most natural states. I've been out on investigations where everything's cool in a room, and then certain people will come in, and next thing you know, you're picking up growling and all kinds of voices and things that weren't there before. So I think the Ouija board is actually the least of your worries, and what you bring to the table, your energy that you bring, can be certainly a question. So yeah.
Well, thank you, Tabitha. That was a lovely interpretation of the best movie of all time. Now,
You're welcome.
all of you here tonight and everyone in the comments clearly needs, to learn something about this. Allow me to delve into my very serious note-taking about this movie and educate you all as to why this was the best movie ever. First of all, I would like everybody to know I prepared. I made this a whole thing. I made a Ouija Shark cootery board on my actual Ouija board right here. There it is. In preparation, I would like everybody to notice there are Doritos for shark fins, Swedish fish, gummy sharks. There's pretzel, goldfish, gushers for the blood, gummy sharks, and Mountain Dew for blood. So we were ready. Not only did we lock in for Ouija Shark 1, we locked in for Ouija Shark 2 as well. Yes, Jason.
How is Mountain Dew blood?
Because it's code red. It's red.
Okay, it's code red Mountain Dew. Okay,
yes.
All right,
yes.
there. Okay,
Jason, she thought this through. We're not going
to. Right,
all right.
Please,
I just
that was about
take the glasses off, Jason, and use your eyes like you should have when you watch this movie. Okay.
I'm colorblind, Courtney.
Well,
I'm colorblind. Sometimes I brush my teeth with a lobster in the morning. It's very hard to be colorblind.
You guys, that was the consistency of the blood spatter that was going on the tree.
There was, yeah, because at one point it was sort of a molasses maple syrup kind of blend, and then there was cartoon blood at one point.
Cartoon blood is the one I wrote down. Yeah. So anyway, we locked in for Ouija Shark 1 and Ouija Shark 2, which is Ouija Shark versus Tarotgator, and the dad wrote that one and directed that one and starred in that one. It was all about his journey through hell to combat the Ouija Shark, which was being unleashed onto Earth. When I tell you it was better than Ouija Shark, I can't. We'll have to watch that one eventually soon. Anyway, I got really excited when I saw this was rated PG-13 because I thought that was me. The whole time, anytime the shark came on the screen, I'd be like, there it is! Ouija Shark! Ouija Shark! Screaming. So a lot of these notes are written in capital letters because that's what I was doing when I was writing them. I was very excited that the opening demon credits were never ending. I thought that was the movie. Then the Black Phillip shirt, which was very exciting. Also, side note, Thumper had sent me a message telling me to expect that. And the song at the end, I can't find anywhere. So I will pay money if someone can get me that song so I can have it on my playlist. We were taken on an entire hike with Jill, not just like alluded to she was hiking with the woods. We were taken on the entire hike. Then my favorite part about that is she's like, I need to catch some rays. I'm going to sunbathe in the shade. She's sunbathing in the shade, but she literally laid down and she was like, I'm in the sun, squinting her eyes.
It's clear that the screenwriters did not understand tanning because later the other girl catches some rays under a pavilion.
Yes.
Right? Like, yeah. It's a different way of tanning, and it's only seen in Ouija Shark.
Right. It's groundbreaking, if you may. 6 minutes in, we've gotten out of the car, taken a hike, and now we're laying on rocks. Also, like to notice that we're at a lake. This is not the ocean. At no point in time has Ouija Shark ever been in the ocean. So that's great. And then all of a sudden, we're what I thought was the shark POV in the water, and I got very excited. Clearly also displaying lake water, not ocean water. Then what I thought was the shark bumps into her legs and she's yelling to no one because you can see with your eyes because you're in knee-deep water. You're crouching in knee-deep water. So you can see that there's no one else around you. So guys, is that you bumping you in knee-deep water? Like you wouldn't see somebody. Okay, great. I love this. I'm in. And then all of a sudden you realize it is not shark POV. It is Ouija board POV. It's the Ouija board bumping into her legs. And now I'm sat. I'm locked in. It's happening. The Ouija board is here. Then it cuts to the girls walking into the house. She's recording on her cell phone. It has the camera recording. Like cell phones don't do that. So great. At one point later on in the movie, the cop is talking on the cell phone and he doesn't unlock it. And you can very clearly see that it's not. It says like slide to unlock. He's calling someone. Every single scene in this movie.
I'm sorry, Courtney. I'm sorry.
I love the lack of any editing whatsoever. Every single scene goes on for way too long. which is great. And I picked this up about 8 minutes in, and I was like, they're padding this movie because this can't be. This is why it's an hour and 10 minutes long. They're carrying around empty cups in the swimming pool and like getting their cups underwater, and then they start playing with them like they're in the tubby. So that was exciting. There's the car cleaning scene where she's trying to get with the guy with the beer belly is 9 minutes long, I'm pretty sure, which is unnecessary but great. Then there's flashbacks. This is the best thing that's ever happened. There's flashbacks to the finding of the Ouija board. We don't need flashbacks at this point because the only thing that's happened in the movie is that the Ouija board was found. So
she was dreaming of the Ouija board.
Oh, well, but it was dreaming
Yeah.
flashbacks to
Yes.
to when she found the Ouija board. But that's the only thing that's happened in the movie other than the washing of the car. So that was great. And then all of a sudden, now we have the shark. The shark emerges, just like I've talked about, from the Ouija board. It's very exciting. Then there, oh no, I'm sorry. She's dreaming of the shark. Then the planchette, which is roughly the size of a surfboard for no reason. They can't even see what it's spelling. And then I wrote down they didn't have enough money in the budget to get a drill to cut a hole in the surfboard size planchette. Then the
They
blood
didn't know how a Ouija board works, and they thought the point was supposed to point to the letters,
Right.
but you couldn't even see that because their hands were over
the
it.
size of the board. It was also the size. You might as well like park a Lincoln Town car like at each letter. Then the blood moon arrives. Now things are serious. And then I wrote down, what does Dad do for work that he's up at night talking like this but dressed as an accountant? Then it turns out that Dad's my favorite character. Why is the shark in the woods? Is it taking a hike, seeing the sights it missed while it was alive? It's looking at a bush. It's growling. It's a stuffed animal. This is my stream of consciousness as I'm seeing the shark for the first time. We had to watch this. It took us 4 hours to watch this movie because I had to keep rewinding it. It's growling. It's a stuffed animal. It's
Holy
chasing
crap.
them.
I just want to give you a big hug right now and tell you the world will be okay.
It will
Watching
now
this
that I've
movie
seen
for
Ouija
4
Shark.
hours. Watching this movie for 4 hours.
Yeah, as everyone should, because I pay attention. It's chasing them in the air, but being puppeted like it's running. So that was my favorite thing. So it's like floating through the air like it's swimming, but it was like...
He was hangry too. So
Right.
hangry.
Yep. I also just wrote it up here, not a singular ocean. I've never been so excited. He shark boomed him. Like he didn't even bite the guy. He just like exploded him into nothing. And then the girl, then this is the best part. They're on a date. She obviously doesn't like him at all because now she's like fed him to the shark and she has a stick. Like what was that going to do? Why are we in the woods?
Wait, she said, "Oh, I'm so glad. Let him go after.
Right,
him
I'm
go
so
after him. He's not going. Thank goodness, not coming after me."
Wait,
have
he
that
totally
initial-
left her. He totally left her there, though. He just
Yeah,
just
but
she
shot
let
leaves
him.
the girl there.
She said, thank God it's going after him first.
I
Yeah,
pointed out.
It's an intensely quotable film.
I rewatched this afternoon with a coworker. I made him watch it with me,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Hey, he just left her," and my coworker was like, "Oh no, they ran in separate directions."
Mhm.
Like he was very like, "Clearly, you missed a plot point."
Obviously.
So-
There's so many of them, so you have to hang on to the ones you can find. I was not ready for the shot of the shark in the pool, even though I knew from the very beginning that it was coming. That's where I screamed and did the Leonardo DiCaprio thing. We'll clear the table of the 4 cups that are on it while you trek miles through woods and whatever else to get the food. The strenuous task. When Dad's researching sharks and demons, the Google slide that's posing as a website was iconic. The tarot reading with the cards that he drew on pieces of paper. The shark POV was killing me.
The shark POV, my favorite. I have to interrupt. And I think I can do this with my one.
Yeah.
When you just saw
Yes.
somebody be running screaming, and you just saw the tip of the shark's nose,
Yeah.
like that. That was my favorite.
The production value on the cop and the mom, but you can't hear their audio because the highway that they're filming next to is too loud. Ouija Shark is everywhere. The forest, the pool, the building, but never the ocean. There's also two different Ouija sharks. I don't know if you all caught on to this. There's the plush shark, but then there's the rubber hand puppet shark.
Yes.
Which is so great. I love that. The animated blood spatter when the shark kills Tiffany. The leather occult montage where we accept our shadowed past in order to save our bright future was iconic. She just
Wow.
She just had that tactical shotgun in her trunk for ghost emergencies. Like, what is she doing with that? For a hot second, we paused and we screamed, "It's gonna be a salt gun," because we thought she was gonna and it wasn't. It was just a gun. The hooded forest figure with mysterious voice comes to drive the plot home off of the drunk drive that it's on. The shark flying through the air. The medium has a light up crystal ball from Spirit Halloween. She shot the shark. I'm distraught that she shot at the shark. The dad distracting the ghost shark with the Spirit Halloween light up crystal ball, only to get sucked into the shadow realm, and the medium being so unconcerned about it. She's like, "Wow, this is a day. I'm having a day."
I won't be wanted for murder later.
Yeah. A dad talking through the Ouija board and then cut to him wrestling the shark in the sky. Then there's shark fireballs the shark can shoot fireballs for no reason. Then Mystic Shield. I thought this is the part that made me think he was a wizard from the trailer. It's just the dad with the colored occult past that we know nothing about. Then there's a firework cloud in the sky, and that's it. Like, I thought that was so overwhelming. But then the shark came back, and then there was the big showdown, and they shot the Ouija board. The hooded man came back, called Trump, and then Finn. The end. Guys, I don't know how you can hear any of that. Like, that was literally all of my thoughts, my stream of consciousness as I watched it. It was the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It is right up there with The Killing Tree for me, because when I watched the second one, it just made it even better. So the second one is Dad has been launched into the shadow realm. He's actually in hell, and there's for no reason. There's so many characters in this one for no reason, and just like you guys said, they're all friends. They're all, their names are the same. Dad and the family of Dad all is the whole production team for the second one, and it's so funny. And then they have the Ouija Shark versus the Tarot-gator, who's being controlled by some other like hell henchman. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and it made the first one even better. So
Jill isn't even. Can you even really have a sequel without Jill in it? Because she's not in Ouija. She's not in Ouija. Does she make a cameo?
Yeah, but it's not the same actress. It's
Can you even have...
She wanted too much money. She wanted
Yeah.
the writer
Different
She demanded a 12-pack of beer, and they said the most we can give you is a 6-pack.
Exactly.
She's like,
my
I'm
favorite
out.
part.
I'm out.
My favorite part of Jill accepting her leather shadowy destiny was when the camera went to her boots, and she with determination zipped up the boot and pulled the pant leg over it, and then she reached over and had already zipped up that boot.
Yeah.
But there was like a moment where her hands didn't know what to do, and I was like, "You got this, Jill. You got this."
Can I just say, Courtney, I do appreciate your taste, and I do appreciate schlock. I really hope we see one of my favorite Naked Witch and a lot of these movies. But this one was too far gone for me. It's hysterical talking about it. I'd watch The Killing Tree over and over beyond this one. I thought The Killing Tree, I appreciate The Killing Tree after watching this movie. I'm just going to tell you, at least there was something going on that I could follow with The Killing Tree. This one, just like someone got out their camera and got their friends together and made a movie. So but I kept going, wow, I'd rather watch The Killing Tree than this movie. I think I would have liked to see more with the shark. I love The Killing Tree followed the tree around. I don't know. It's just I couldn't get past it. Sorry.
This is Jill's film, though. I mean, this is all about Jill. She's a conduit for nasty things, apparently.
Yeah.
Where she goes,
shadow work.
She had an
sharks
attitude
follow.
right from the beginning. I mean, she
did.
got out there and she had an attitude
grown
right from the get-go.
Was she supposed to meet the other ladies out there and then realized, oh, I'm supposed to go to the house and swim in the pool?
So they were supposed to meet at the beach, but she called them and was like, "Where are y'all?" And they said, "Meet us at the house." And when they pulled into the suburbs, conveniently located next to the forest, one of them was like, "Oh my God, we got the directions so wrong. We're finally here." So they were supposed to meet Jill at the beach, and they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball.
Thank you, Thumper. That was a plot point that just bothered me throughout the whole movie. Like,
I can forgive the mystery planchette, but not.
If you paid close attention, Jason, there was exactly 0 plot holes in this movie. So,
did you notice that the cops had their patches on? It said Munster.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
As in cheese, big cheese, so much cheese.
That is brilliant.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
right,
it should have said like cheese whiz, really,
Right.
instead of Munster. That is an insult to Munster cheese.
I'm going to readjust the schedule because I took over, so I can do that. I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to take a break from talking before I do quotes and see if Jason is ready to do his Mankey Movie Minute.
Oh, wow, we're out of order. All right.
Yep. I am a rebel without a cause today.
We can do it. I can do it. For those of you of a certain age, you might remember when the original Jurassic Park was released. That movie was a revelation. No one had ever seen CGI like that before, and the dinosaurs looked like fully realized dinosaurs. I remember my jaw hypothetically hitting the floor when we got our first reveal of a dinosaur. It was an awe-inspiring moment, the closest I would ever get to really seeing what a dinosaur might have looked like. Just as I've always wanted to see a realistic-looking dinosaur, I've also always dreamed of seeing a ghost shark on the silver screen. Enter Ouija Shark, and the jaw-dropping moment when the movie reveals the Ouija Shark for the first time. If you've ever wondered what CGI graphics might look like if they had been rendered on a Commodore 64, well, that question has now been answered with Ouija Shark. Just like Jurassic Park, this movie too was awe-inspiring. Only my awe was more like, aw, those poor people have to be in this movie. At one point, perhaps during the first 20 minutes of the film where nothing happens, I began to wonder if I was watching Ouija Shark at all. Perhaps this was an adult film, though to be honest, the production values weren't high enough to qualify for porn. Still, I couldn't help but imagine a different film. Pool party with the ladies. Car wash gets dirty. Fun time on the picnic bench. Blonde girl hooks up in the park. Mom seduces the sheriff. Drunk cop sleeps with bartender. Jill's dad seduces the medium. Jill and car wash girl rinse off together. Jill seduces sheriff. The end. That would have been a better film. But no, that is not what happened. Instead, we get a movie that should be 45 minutes long, somehow stretched to 70 minutes through the very unclever use of filming people walking through a park. A part of me will forever exist in that park because a little piece of my soul died in that park while watching this movie. And I use the term movie very loosely here. And then the twist ending, featuring a red MAGA hat, a rotary phone from 1968, and a plot from the highest levels of the Oval Office. Courtney, you clearly do not want me to wish you a happy birthday, because there's no way I can do so after watching this film. And again, I use the term film loosely here. Ouija Shark is an abomination of a movie. The Killing Tree is like Citizen Kane compared to this film. I have watched a lot of bad movies. This one was truly the absolute worst. Do you know why Patty and Richard Lale aren't here tonight? Because they are smarter than Heather and me. Happy birthday, Courtney Buckley, you monster.
Spoiler alert, it's not my birthday. My birthday is not till August. But this was my birthday pick. We cannibalized it for this week.
Oh, Jason, I really appreciate how you got so emotionally overwrought that you lost control of your air quotes. That made me really happy.
I am very passionate when we do the movie Coven. I'm passionate about the Coven. I'm passionate about the films that I watch. Passionate about the minute.
And passionate about being the final victim of the Ouija Shark.
Yes.
All right, time for my quotes. This one, I feel like I'm going to get tattooed on my body. Screw it, time waits for no man, neither do I. That was very exciting. No creepy old man to spoil our fun then. And then the creepy old man arrived and washed his car. She said she wanted to get wet as soon as she got here, with like innuendo. You're not my real mom. Which I wrote that down because in no way, shape, or form was anyone else's relationship explained. So was that relevant? I didn't know. There's a barbecue over there. I'll get it lit. I'm sure you will. And then the classic, is that a hoo-haul board? It's pronounced Ouija. Or Ouija, I think she said.
Ouija.
Yeah, she said Ouija.
How did you die? To the board. Hungry. Dreams can be a doorway to the unconscious mind. I've told you that before. I'm just not familiar with that type of manifestation. I'll need to do some research. And no more fooling around with the occult. Is that a shark or a ghost? Well, the fact that they had to question that at all. Oh, thank God, it's going after him first. Okay, shark ghost thingy, you already ate. Please go away now. I'm in the middle of a case. It better be a police case, not a case of beer. What the hell is going on? It's a flying ghost shark, for crying out loud. Ghost sharks? Who even thought that was a thing? If Ugly's going that way, we're going this way. I dabbled with forces I shouldn't have. I tapped into elemental forces to try to control it. But you cannot control the sheer brutality of the great white shark. The shark is watching. And then so nonchalantly after watching Dad get blasted into the ether, I think it's the medium says, Mama told me there'd be days like this.
Yes.
Where's the planchette? Use this. Slams down a gun. Dad, oh no, I'm dead, Dad in the sky. I've got to use my occult training. Mystic shield. What's stronger than a shark? Love in the human spirit. And then, oh my God, I had to edit this one in the theme of last week's episode. Puck you, fish face. And then, this is for my dad, you aquatic douchebag. I could use a drink. You? I could use about 6 and some sushi. 2 cans. And then the best quote of them all, because I told him I'd say this, Nathan's quote watching this movie. The shark goes wherever the plot needs it to go. It has a background with the occult. It finds its way. So that is quotes on Ouija Shark. Now we have one. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I have to say in defense of the medium, as somebody who does read professionally, you see some stuff, you hear some stuff. Sometimes you just kind of have to be like, he exploded in a ball of light. It happens.
Well, yeah. Ouija Sharks. Ghost sharks all around.
My favorite quote, and I loved it because you can rip it out of context, was just keep your fingers on it.
They all had trouble with that, even though there was ample room for it.
Yeah, you could have had like another 8 people on that planchette.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite moment.
Shark itself.
I will say my favorite moment. Oh, go ahead, Heather.
No, go ahead, Thumper.
I was just going to say, my favorite moment, honestly, was we've established that the shark is see-through. We have established that the shark can go wherever it wants, appear at any time. But at one point in the woods, Jill and Tiffany were escaping, and Jill went down, and we got to see this. That made me so happy. That made me indescribably happy.
I want to point out real quick, if we can look at the advertisement for Ouija Shark, notice that that we've flashed up here a couple of times. It is a total misrepresentation of this movie. Not only is the board the board that is not the board that floats up and attacks, and the girl does not look like the girls in this movie. There it is. And that's certainly not the shark that we're dealing with at all.
Where's the lighthouse in this film?
Where's the lighthouse?
I love that Jay is a big fish hook.
This board's also supposed to be ancient. It's supposed to be ancient.
They spent their $300 on that picture.
Right, that's where it all went.
$299 were spent on that image, and $1 was
$1
spent
on the shark flesh. Yeah. All right, guys, it's time to vote. Everyone in the comments, let's hear it. Keep in mind, if you vote down, you will be hexed. I'm going to be very busy later on tonight. I obviously am voting directly up. Jason, where is your vote? Let's go. Yes, that's what I thought. Good job, Jason. Ah! All right, Thumper is up. after my heart.
This is a
Heather?
movie that you can enjoy while not sober. Otherwise, find things to do.
It is a terrible movie.
But if you have some friends over and are eating gummies or drinking heavily, this is the kind of movie you should put on. So it could be up when inebriated, but sober, it goes down.
Okay.
It goes down.
This is a film for the ages. Heather, your horrifying doll wand is down. Tabitha, I will accept your almost erect wand.
You just gotta appreciate it for what it is, you know. It is
Thank
what
you.
it is.
Right. All right, we've got
Way
wands
buried
down,
6 feet under.
wands up because it's campy and dumb. Thank you. I guess I'll be X. Okay. Wands up because I missed it. Patty, I love you and I miss you. A multi-dimensional wand down. Oh no. I think you scared and alone for having my back. Wands up. Oh man. All right, guys. I don't see anyone that has their wands down because you're all incorrect and wrong. So this movie wins. It's the best one we've ever covered, other than The Tide. I'm voting with a hula hoop tonight, so you decide. Amazing, amazing, and I love it. All right, Heather, do we know what's coming up next week?
We have the autopsy of Jane Doe next week.
Woo!
Ooh.
Excellent.
That's
That'll
a great
be a fun
movie.
one to talk about. All right. Before we all sign off for the night, where can we find everybody? What is everybody doing? Jason, what do you got going on?
I am not traveling in July, and I'm so excited. I will be staying home until I'm on the road at Free Spirit Gathering in August. So, yay.
Amazing. Okay, Thumper?
I'm not going anywhere big until November, when I will be at October's in Cleveland, Ohio for the launch of the Chaos Apple. And I will be there all weekend signing books and teaching a class.
Amazing.
Woo.
And Chompers, his name is Chompers. I think he's part of the panel now because I've fallen in love with him. Seeing him on
I'm
camera.
obsessed with that. I would love to see him back anytime. Heather?
Yay.
Well, I've got something coming out next week. Will be in different locations for the next 4 weeks. But next week is Mystic South. We kick off on Thursday night with an opening welcoming, and then we start Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you're in Atlanta or close to Atlanta, you can buy tickets, day tickets. You can buy tickets for the whole weekend up until Friday, and then you can buy them on site starting next Thursday. So come join us for Mystic South and join us, myself, and many other witches and pagans and occult people all gathering together in Atlanta next week. And then after that, I have other things coming up, but I may be coming to you from hotel rooms for the next few weeks. But join me. I hope I get to see some folks that are part of our coven next week.
Yeah. Mystic South is the best thing. So if you can go.
It's really great. Go.
All right, Tabitha, what do you got?
You can find me on the socials, Tabitha Meadows, or under Traveler's Light. And if you want a private reading, you can reach me at Tabitha Meadows at travelerslight.life.
Awesome. Thank you. I am at the Themes on all the things. I will be spending the next week hunting down the Ouija Shark song. So if anybody has any leads, let me know. Visit mysterycontrol.com so you can check out all of the fun merch, because I'm sure we're going to have a Ouija Shark something to go along with tonight. Plus,
Mystic Shield. Mystic Shield. Mystic Shield.
Oh, you can also get some books on there. Dollcraft, Heather's book. Jason, is your book on there?
I think it is, yeah.
Oh, wow. See, one-stop shopping for everybody.
And you can pre-order mine.
And pre-order Thumpers. It'll be amazing. Tabitha and Thumper, thank you once again for being with us here on the show. You guys did a great job, and I appreciated very much having you here for what is a monumental day for me, that I get to talk about Ouija Shark. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And
questioning so many choices in my life tonight. So many choices.
You're welcome, Jason. You're welcome.
I love you.
Get
Courtney.
some taste. I love you too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have 40 seconds left, but I think I'm going to start early because instead of cackling tonight, we have a little song for you guys. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Ouija Shark. Ouija Shark. Ouija Shark.
Ouija Shark.
Miss